Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Everything Film from Crystalline Studios, your go-to show for deep dives into the filmmaking world. I am Shelley, or I Hinan, and in this episode, we embark on an interesting journey through the history of filmmaking. How it all began, and how Nigeria was able to carve its space in the global filmmaking world. From the 20th century's silent films to the vibrant Nollywood we have today. And also, we will be exploring the pioneers, the evolution, and the milestones. So, let's hit the ground running.
You know, say, here, it be Africa. Traditionally, we dey talk, all you women, you go kneel down. What? You man, you go lie down.
For us to understand how far we have come, first, we rewind to where it might have begun. The history of filmmaking dates back to the 19th century when the Lumiere brothers, the French inventors of photography equipment, produced the first motion pictures, and of course, places them amongst the earliest filmmakers. Precisely the year was 1895, their film, Workers Leaving the Lumiere Factory, became one of the first ever motion pictures screened for an audience. These early films were silent and short and captured simple scenes of daily life. As technology advanced in the late 1920s, the silent era gave way to the talking era, bringing synchronized sounds to film. Hollywood became the epicenter of filmmaking, with studios like Warner Bros., MGM, and Paramount pioneering storytelling techniques that shaped the industry as we know it today. While Hollywood was making waves, filmmaking found its way to Africa through colonial influences. Early films made in Africa were primarily documentaries or propaganda films made by European filmmakers. However, by the mid-20th century, to tell their own stories from the African point of view, Africans began reclaiming the art form that was left in the hands of the colonialists, who portrayed the continent as a disconnect from human civilization. Countries like Egypt, Senegal, and Nigeria began to develop their own filmmaking industry, each with its distinct storytelling style and cultural influences. And now we zoom into a focus, which is Nigeria. The history of filmmaking in Nigeria dates back to the 19th century when motion pictures were viewed through a peephole device. But then in the 20th century, it was replaced with improved motion pictures exhibition devices. In the year 1903, a Nigerian nationalist, Herbert Macaulay, invited Balboa Film Company, which was based in Spain, to organize an exhibition tour of silent films in Nigeria. The first set of films shown in Nigeria were Western films, with the first of such films shown at Global Memorial Hall in Lagos from 12th to 22nd August 1903. Now, in the year 1927, the first recognized silent feature film in Nigeria was written, produced and directed by Jeffrey Barkers and was titled Palava, a Romance of Northern Nigeria. It was shot among the Sura and Angas people of the Belgian Plateau in northern Nigeria. Although produced in Nigeria, the film was made for the British audience. While non-professional native Nigerians were engaged as actors, the story was told from the point of view of a British protagonist to push the colonialist agenda while further establishing their narratives that Africans were cannibal pagans until the British brought civilization to Africa.
How do you do? Very nice to meet you. Thank you. Please thank the chief for his welcome. I come from down the river to see the chief on business.
Moving to capturing sound and visuals, in 1957, Sam Zeba from Latvia produced Fincho, the first Nigerian feature film shot in color. In the 1960s, after Nigerian independence, Nigerian indigenous filmmakers began making their mark. On 23rd February 1972, the then head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, issued the indigenization decree requiring the transfer of ownership of about a total of 300 film theaters from their foreign owners to Nigerians, which resulted in more Nigerians playing active roles in the cinemas and films. Now, with new cinemas also being established, the cinema business expanded, which resulted in Nigerian content in theatre increasing from the late 1960s into the 1970s. Thanks to pioneers of Nigerian theatre, particularly the practitioners of the Yoruba traveling theatre such as Hubert Ogunde, Duro Ladipo, Kola Ogunmola, Moses Olaya, and Oyadejobi, who branched out from mainstream theatre to experiment with celluloid. The Nigerian film industry has evolved through different phases. Now let us quickly take a look at the celluloid era, also known as the golden era, and that was between 1960s and 1980s. During this period, Nigerian filmmakers made use of 35mm and 16mm. Although the influence of Western filmmakers was evident, indigenous stories were told. Some early notable films included Bound for Lagos in 1962, Culture in Transition, and Mama Learns a Lesson, both in 1963. Kongi's Harvest, recorded in 1970, based on Wole Soyinka's play as directed by Osi Davis, and Bullfrog in the Sun in 1971, which was the adaptation of Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, directed by Hans-Jürgen Poland. Ogunde Theatre Party, which became a platform for telling indigenous stories. Its pioneering work led to the production of films that resonated with Nigerian audiences. Now the films produced by Chief Hubert Ogunde or Aye premiered in 1979, followed by Jayusimi in 1980, Aroquintenio in 1982, and Ayomo in 1989. All these movies mentioned were only produced after the successful production of Ajaniogun in 1976 by Ola Balogun, which he co-produced with Adeyemi Afolayan, popularly known as Adilove, and Ija-Ominira in 1979, produced by Adilove. The efforts of this early dramatist ushered Nigerian filmmaking into the modern age. However, the high cost of production and lack of infrastructure limited the growth of this phase, which made filmmakers adopt the use of 16mm reversal stock film to create movies. Unfortunately, in the 1980s, filmmaking culture collapsed, and that was as a result of incessant harassment of innocent citizens by criminals and the country's economic downturn. Before long, a more powerful but more convenient form of filmmaking, utilizing pneumatic Super VHS and ordinary VHS camera, video films known in Nigeria as home video films became a new initiative in a popular culture. Now it's time to talk about the home video boom, which happened between the 1990s and the 2000s. This is a period considered to be a revolutionary moment in the Nigerian cinema. Before the boom of home videos in the 1990s, the first person said to have produced a film in video for public consumption is Ade Ajiboye, popularly known as Big Abbas. And that was in the year 1988, titled Shosho Meji. Late Muhyiddin Alade Aromire, about the same period, shot his own film too, titled Ekun. While Ajiboye showed his own film at Tinuade Cinema at Omoroshoki, Lagos, Alade Aromire was opportune to use a bigger platform, and that was National Theatre at Igomu, Lagos State. The 1992 release of Living in Bondage by Kenneth Ineboye in collaboration with Charles Onu changed the landscape forever. Made on VHS, the film became an instant hit and proved Nigerian audiences were hungry for locally made stories. Now, this era saw the rise of video films produced cheaply and quickly, leading to the term Nollywood. Films were shot in digital format, allowing for mass production and distribution. The likes of Tunde Kilani, the late Amaka Igwe, and Zeb Ejiro also shaped the industry with films that explored themes of love, tradition, and corruption. Now, it's time to talk about the digital revolution, which was between 2000 and now. As technology advanced, Nollywood embraced digital filmmaking. High definition cameras, streaming platforms, and international collaborations transformed the industry. Filmmakers like Kunia Folayan, who produced and directed The Figurine, and Anikulapo, Kemi Adetiba's King of Boys, Femi Adebayo's King of Thieves, and Odulade Adekola's The Vendor, and many others have taken Nigerian filmmaking industry to a new height altogether, with films being screened at Netflix and at global film festivals. Looking at the impact, this can be said to be phenomenal. Now hear this, Nollywood is now the second largest filmmaking industry in the world in terms of output, producing thousands of films annually. Nollywood is no longer just a Nigerian phenomenon, it is indeed a global force. The industry has become so significant for the world to ignore. Nigerian films are now being recognized internationally, winning awards and featuring at prestigious festivals like Toronto International Film Festival and Cannes. Nollywood has launched thousands of producers, directors, actors, and technical crew members as well as marketers into the limelight. Of course, streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Showmax have provided global audiences access to Nollywood film, increasing international appreciation. The industry is now attracting significant investment, with Nigerian filmmakers and actors working on cross-border collaborations. Now, before we round off on this episode, I will need to quickly mention that despite all the successes, Nollywood is not without its challenges such as piracy, limited funding, and also distribution bottlenecks. However, the future looks so promising with young filmmakers embracing technology, better storytelling techniques, and international partnerships. Nollywood has further shown the resilience of Africans and their cultures to withstand the throes of the domination, reaching global acclaim beyond the shores of the continent, and as a veritable tool for recasting the image of Africa to the world, providing education for Africans about their heritage and their culture. As a matter of fact, private investors are beginning to see Nollywood's economic potential, and of course, a lot of them are beginning to invest in the industry. With all these positive developments, the future of Nigerian filmmaking industry is brighter than ever. That brings us to the end of this episode's journey, taking us through the history of filmmaking in Nigeria, from the pioneers who laid the groundwork to the modern visionaries taking Nollywood to a new height. One thing is clear, the Nigerian storytelling spirit is unstoppable. As we wrap up, I leave you with this thought. What role will you play in shaping the future of the Nigerian cinema? Whether as a filmmaker or an actor, or even as a dedicated viewer, your support keeps the industry thriving. Thank you for joining me on Everything Film from Crystalline Studios, and please kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel, and do not forget to watch and also like and make comments as well. Until next week, keep watching, keep dreaming, and keep celebrating the magic of film. I am Shelley, or I Hidden. Bye for now.